everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. Fabulous panel with me tonight to talk about Day 8 of Relative Race, Season 15, Day 8. We're getting close to the end. It's amazing. I can't believe it. We always say it goes by so fast, and it really does. We've got Jenny Hawran from Like Herding Cats Genealogy. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here. We've got Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura.
I am also happy to be here.
I'm so glad you guys are all happy to be here because I need you. We've got Bernice Bennett from BerniceBennett.com.
Hi, everybody.
Easy to find Bernice, right? Yes.
Right.
Glad you're here. Shelley Murphy is here. Our Dr. Shelley Murphy is here.
I'm also glad to be here.
Mary Kircher
Roddy.
Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Are you happy to be here?
Especially happy to be here.
There you go.
Oh goodness, guys, we are going to talk about Day 8. There was a lot of things going on Day 8, and like I said, we're moving. We're getting towards the end. We really are. We're getting answers. We're seeing wonderful reunions. It's fabulous. We start Day 8 knowing that everybody but Team Blue has got to do a selfie.
Yeah,
just any selfie. The selfie was back, but guess what? Tell us what else was back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The rubber chicken.
Rubber chicken.
That was so fun. That's just become kind of iconic for Relative Race. So
I think they ought to figure out a place to put it every season.
I think they should too.
I think the chicken should be in the car riding with
them.
Each of the teams.
It should be like how they find their car keys next season. It's a chicken that's colored the way their team is, and they have to find a rubber chicken.
Chicken keychains. There's so many things they could do.
Yeah.
But it was funny because they opened up their glove box to find them. So, and I was wondering if Team Blue was sad they didn't get a chicken.
I know, right?
Even though, I mean, they could have given him one. They just wouldn't have had to do a selfie with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have been really sad that I didn't get a chicken if I was Team Blue. I would have wanted that. Oh my gosh. Team Red, when they started out, Kaylee got a gift. God, that was the coolest gift ever. Who wants to talk about the gift so I don't just talk the whole time we're doing GenFriends? Anybody?
How about the gift from her dad
and her
stepmother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both got it.
Yes. Go ahead.
St. Christopher medals.
Yes.
St. Christopher's the patron saint of travelers.
Yes.
Very cool. And they also
a bracelet.
Yeah. And a bracelet.
That's right. And the bracelet. I forgot about the bracelet.
Right. And
what did it say?
It said till my last day,
my last
breath.
Oh,
I know.
I mean, you're like, oh great, we're gonna start already. We haven't even gotten away from our relative and we're gonna start crying already. So that was
but it was really nice. I mean, we've seen biological parents like, okay, you're done with those adopted people now, you're ours. And they're not doing that. They're just being very, very sweet about we're really here.
Yeah, we're
and
here
to include it for Dan. That was really sweet too.
Yes, to give Dan something as well. I thought was really, really nice. I thought that was great. And I mean, you can just feel, even though it's been so many months since the show stopped, they're done filming and wrapped everything up. She's just continually posting now that she can. She's just all these pictures and how grateful she is, and she still can't believe it happened. And after all those years, so it's just seeing her excitement every day as she posts on social media, I think has really, really been fun as well. So don't mind the whining dog in the background. We'll ignore him. So I don't know if you guys can hear him, but I can. And so
I cannot hear him.
Ignore the whining dog. Penny will hear him in a minute, and then Penny's going to get up and start barking at him, and then we're going to have trouble because then he's going to start barking. But anyway,
I can mute myself and.
I could just say talk amongst yourselves.
You left out an important morning thing that happened to Team Black.
Yes. Go ahead.
David, they were trying to teach David to crochet because he's got his needle and they're like
Yes.
wrapping it around, and he's like,
The look on his face.
He was trying.
And it's such a calming thing to do. I mean, that's therapy for so many
I don't know that it
people,
was
My
man.
calming or
daughter.
therapeutic for him at all.
No, it was stressful. It was
Exactly.
stressful for him.
but yeah, it is. It is. I'm sure it's therapeutic, and it's back in now. It's like
Yeah, it is.
the
It
young-
really is.
the young'uns do it.
Yeah, my
It's not
daughter,
It's
my daughter
also
crochet's all
throughout
the time.
prison systems too.
Oh, really?
Mm.
that's
Oh yeah,
interesting.
knitting and crocheting. Yes,
Well, brings that peace and calm and
it's a blood pressure reducer.
there we go.
Yeah.
There
It's
we
been a
go.
long time at Joanne Fabrics, which is closing,
Which is
with
closing.
my
Yes,
daughter over
they-
the weekend picking out
you
yarn.
did?
It's like, oh, can
You
you be done, please,
So I have a question regarding this season.
Okay.
The families that each of the different teams are meeting, and again, everybody's got a pretty much different
Mhm.
story,
Mm-hmm.
but the pictures and the giving seems to be a lot more present
It
than
just,
thinking
I
of
think
the
it just-
other
yeah,
season.
I just think it depends. And I
It
think,
just depends.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
some seasons we've seen more of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
and
people-
some we have,
But are we not seeing it all? It all comes down to editing and what they can do. and what
That's
they can't
true.
do. And that's
That's
part of
true.
the issue is that we don't know what we're missing. And so, I know we've talked
That's
about this
true.
before, relative race. We want some clips. We want to see things that didn't get into the show. And I know that the teams have said that before. There were parts of the show that they were surprised that didn't get
Didn't
aired.
make
But
the
it's
cut.
a timing. It's a timing thing. So it just depends. It really
Yeah.
does depend, Shelley, on
A lot of these families know their history, where
Oh yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that seems to be a little more
I
amazing
love that.
for me.
I love
is
that.
that
when-
they can do the
Yeah.
lineage or talk about it and
Mhm.
this, that, and other. Because we've got one Polish, one that's Finnish,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
was brought up, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
really fun that they have got people that can
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
them that. So they get going and they're going off to their challenge and but they got to take their selfies. Yeah, they got to take their selfies first, right? Before they get to the challenge. Am I doing that?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
The three teams
And they all did a really good job. And I thought they were really
Yes, so
fun doing it,
with the chicken.
with the chicken.
With
With the
kissing the
Well,
chicken.
they have smartphones, not the flip phone, so it is
was a
easier
little
to
bit
take
easier.
a picture on a
Bernice,
smartphone
sorry,
than a flip
sorry.
phone.
Yeah, sorry, Mary, didn't mean to talk over you. Bernice, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying someone did have the opportunity to kiss the chicken as they
Oh,
took-
yes. Yes, that's right. That was Team Green, wasn't it? They kissed the
I
chicken.
think so.
I thought that was really cute. I thought
Yeah.
that
It was
really
cute.
And they seemed to really enjoy it. They didn't act like it was a burden, to have to, because really all they have to do is find a sign and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like an official city sign. It can be anything with the name of the city they're going to, and then just take that. And like you said, Mary, it's easier because it's a phone. And people are used to taking selfies now, with
Right.
regular phones. So although I'm terrible at it, but still, they at least got it done. So I thought that was really, really cute. They had a really good time. It was just something fun for them to do. And of course, Team Blue didn't have to do it. They just kept driving.
Right.
They just kept going to their challenge. So the challenge was interesting. It was very, very kind of interesting.
It
And
wouldn't be in my book.
it wouldn't be in a family. You couldn't, unless you had a basketball court and then
Right.
some kind of, you'd have to build that maze. So, I mean, you could do it and
Yeah.
just doing basketball, but so it was called, I wrote it down. What was it called? It was called
I
Of
didn't
mice
write
and
it
mammoths.
down.
Mice
Of
and
mice and
Mammoths.
mammoths.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
big elephant board.
Yeah, well, they did. They had it was a big elephant with the basketball hoop, and then they had two little on his ears. There were two little baskets. So if they got their basket in the little ones, it was worth all the points they needed. But if they missed, which everybody kept missing,
And
then
there wasn't much backboard to
no,
angle
little
anything
one.
in either.
that's true. And so they had to get 5 balls into the regular. And I was surprised at the people that were having struggles doing it. You would think that Dan, being so tall, would be able just to,
He said
yeah.
Yeah.
comment. Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's like a free throw, you see people
right.
that are so good when the pressure's on, they're suddenly,
Exactly. They
they're having
can't
some
do it.
issues, so.
Yeah, exactly. That would be stressful. I mean, you're trying to hurry. You're on camera. You want to make a fool out of
And
yourself.
you're timed.
And you're
Right.
timed and yeah, so I think they all did a really good job. It took a while for some of them to get those 5 in there, but I think once they
Right.
got going and they had to if you got one in, then the next person had to do it. So they had to take turns. So it wasn't like Dan could just stand there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with his tallness, So they had to, and I love Kaylee. Go, Uncle Dan! You can do
I
it,
know.
Uncle Dan!
I
Uncle
know.
Dan! Come on, Uncle Dan! It's so cute. It's just
She
so
is
cute.
so cute.
She is
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah, she really, really is. So fun. So fun. But then there was a second part, and that was
Yeah, that maze, that big, huge maze that you had
The
to
thing. Yeah.
maneuver, maneuver the ball
right.
Do y'all
to find
remember
its cheese.
Yeah, to
that
find the
game called
cheese. Yeah.
Labyrinth? Do you remember that?
I
It
have
was
one at my cabin. Yep, with the 2 things, and
Yeah.
you gotta,
I
yeah.
gave it to my dad when he was recovering from surgery because I thought he could just sit there. And he said, "Are you trying to kill me?"
Yeah. Yeah, very frustrating. Yeah.
Too funny. So those are two very interesting back-to-back challenges, that they put together like that. So some of them that it seemed to, unless it's just the way it was edited, just they did a great job. It went through, most of them, I think most of them did pretty well on that. I don't think anybody had a really hard time with it. So just time consuming and getting that ball in the right place. Laura, what were we
Oh,
going to
and
say?
there was one little place where there was a little ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and they all struggled with that.
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
thought they
true.
were going to time out, but they didn't.
Yeah, nobody did this time.
Yeah.
Everybody made it through, so that was good. All 4 teams made it through. So, and then of course, then they go get their relative's address, and we've talked about this a million times. Is it the correct address or not? It doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to go look
What's
those up
wrong
and
with
go to
the
the house,
communities?
say that again.
What is wrong with the
Oh
community?
gosh, Team Red, how many times? 10 times they asked somebody if they knew the address and nobody.
And maybe it's more of they don't want to tell them because they don't know why they're
What's
asking.
going on?
But
Yeah.
you can see cameras behind the,
Like it's a legit
Anyway.
thing. Yeah. So
kind of sad.
I am Team Green as far as directions. I
oh
feel
gosh.
you could tell me where to go, and I
still
will
go
forget
wrong.
it. I will forget it 5 seconds later. So I feel for them. I am
Yeah.
them, and God bless them. They're always so positive about
And
everything.
they're laughing all the time.
They're laughing,
Yeah.
Singing.
And singing exactly. And
Yes.
they always hear a different. So they're both listening to the directions, but they both are different.
And they
Mother
were
like
writing
daughter.
it- They were not just listening, they were writing it down.
I still did
And
it right.
I think
I
so.
love
I
them
totally
because that's
get that.
exactly
They
what would
were
have
like
happened to me.
sisters than mother-daughter. That's the kind of thing my sister and I would do.
Yeah.
It's so funny, but they did. They said it was just a U-turn. We just had to turn around and go back, and we figured
Yeah,
out.
I don't think they went that far as
Yeah.
like the editing made it
Made
appear.
it look like, right? Yeah.
Looked like they were going 10 miles, but
Right.
Yes. And I saw somebody ask in the Facebook group, what is with these places not having maps? Well, I think nobody's got maps anymore because everybody's
Cell
got
phone.
maps on their cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't use a
Yes.
map. Who uses
exactly,
a
yeah.
map? Yeah, absolutely. So that's why people don't have maps. It's because you're supposed to be using your cell phone. So I
Like, but the people that they're asking, you would think maybe they would pull out their phone and say, well, let me see.
but they're not
Yeah.
allowed to. Yeah, they probably try, but they're not allowed to. They've got that camera crew.
Yeah, I think that's all
Yeah.
kind of prepped somewhat.
Well, they're not allowed to do it. I said they probably have to tell them, no, I can't look at your phone because they're not allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
That
We're
would
just
not
not
be
seeing
fair.
that part of the clip.
Yeah. But like I know last week we saw, can't remember which team said we're on a race and we can't use our phone. So that's why, we need
Yeah.
your help. And what about Team Black as they go to the light and the guy comes and he's
Flushing this windshield. Oh, I know. They're such good people, though. They're like, oh, let's find some, he's like, let's find some money,
Some
$2.
money instead of going, get away from my car.
I know.
I probably
They
would have
did.
been,
It's like,
I'll come
oh,
back later.
But they
It's like,
didn't even roll the window down that we saw. They probably did. And
Yeah.
again, that would be editing.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
did hand him some money though, but
he had $2, I think it was.
but then they were happy because they could see.
See,
I could see where they were going.
Yeah,
But I
that
don't think
was
that's never
funny.
happened. I don't think that's ever happened on a show before. So I thought that was pretty funny because there are a lot of places where that happens,
yeah,
You
yeah.
stop and all of a sudden you got people cleaning your
Bet
car.
you their producer actually paid somebody to come up.
I'll bet they were laughing. I'll bet the people in the car following them it was hysterically funny to them
Hilarious.
that they got stuck doing that. So I thought that was really, really funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
Because I mean, really, and you could tell they were looking at each other like, what do we do? What do we do? We can't just, I mean, they could, but they
Yeah.
could have just said, look, I can't. No, thank you. No, thank you. We gotta go. We gotta go. We're in a hurry. But they didn't. They were good-hearted and let him work a little bit and then handed them some money. So I thought that was good. So, and then they're probably thinking the whole way, because we were kind, is this going to get us kicked off? Is this going to make us well, not kicked off, but not be able to get all the way and win the money, So I'm
Yeah.
sure that might have been running through their minds because you don't know. But they did the right thing. I mean, they did. They did the right
Yeah.
thing. So I was happy that they did that. So anybody else have any issues getting to their relative? I'm Team
Not
Black,
really.
Team Green went the wrong way.
Was it Team Black? It was a grid system again?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's a grid system, that's
His niece did well.
yeah, she's
She's a good navigator. Yeah. She's good.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's important for everybody to know too, and to remember that yes, she knows all of these relatives, but they're not in their home. So she doesn't know where she's going.
She doesn't know who it is yet.
And she doesn't know where they put them because that wouldn't be fair either. To go, oh, it's grandma's house, it's right around the corner. So, they were good with that.
But she's secret, she's not saying
she's been
anything.
really good, yeah.
Yeah. Because
That
the
would be-
two nieces this time.
Yeah, well, we can go ahead and talk about
and stuff. So now
Yeah.
I have a question. Was the
Okay.
brother Reuben, he passed or
Yeah, apparently, and I don't know that we've heard about.
I think I guess he
It is-
passed because
Yeah.
Denise was
They were
very,
crying.
she got upset,
Yeah.
Upset.
Well, let's back up just a minute. So when they pull up and these two girls come out and it's
Yeah.
David's nieces and it's one of his sister's daughters.
Yvonne.
It's such a big family, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
he didn't know Yvonne. Had not seen a picture of her. And so they were able to share and show the picture. So he's got a lot of nieces. It's been kind of a niece-filled season for him, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
big is his
And about the
family?
picture.
Uh-huh.
Was it his sister Yvonne holding him?
No, it was a different.
No.
It was a different.
No, it was someone else.
Yeah, it was a
Oh, I
different.
thought it was her.
I think it was a different. I think it's a different sister because he had said that I haven't seen a picture of her.
He hadn't seen a picture of their mother, which was Yvonne, and that was
No, that's
Lizzie
okay.
and Nina.
of the girl's mother. Yeah. He hadn't seen a picture, and so they showed the picture.
How many's in his family?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
I seem like I want to say
Was
like
it 9?
9 or 10, something like that.
Yeah, from the first episode or something.
Yeah. And then I don't think they've ever mentioned a brother having passed away. Do you guys remember them ever mentioning? They may have, and we didn't catch it, but so I didn't realize. And so when they were showing him that picture and talking about him, I mean, they were really emotional about that uncle passing away.
And I think he would have passed just within the last couple of
Ooh.
years.
Yeah, maybe because they were so emotional about that, and they were talking about how the family was so
But
close.
no, they said he had. I wrote down that Reuben had passed in 2003.
Oh, okay. But
So
it was
the girls
because
probably
they
were-
said
were
because they
little
said that
when he
Raylene was
died.
15. She was 15 when
That's
he,
right. That's
Yeah,
right. She
yeah,
was a
so it
teenager.
has been a while.
That's right.
but that
But
was,
I thought it was interesting though, because at first I was confused and I thought, was this Raylene's father? Was Reuben, because she was so
Mhm,
emotional so
mhm.
quickly. But you know, she explained that they all grew up so close, and the
Right.
aunts and uncles were just, you know, were just so dear to them, and you know, that says a lot about the family that he's getting into.
Yeah.
That's a
it
wonderful
does.
wonderful thing for him.
Exactly, exactly. And don't you love that they talked about, you know, we used to get together with and have bonfires.
The bonfires.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's what they had, is they took him to the beach
That was
and they
nice.
had a bonfire. And I was kind of hoping that other people would walk and there'd be a big family coming towards the bonfire. That would have been really cool. But that didn't happen, but that would have been nice.
But the group hug was really sweet too.
Ah,
Yeah.
group hug,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's a sweet tradition. Hopefully they will continue that and he'll be able to go to many, many, many bonfires. So
Well, they kept saying to him, like, everyone, you don't understand how many people are anxious to meet you.
yeah, and they said a number. What
Because
was that
they
number?
all
did
knew
say a
about
number,
him.
but I didn't
They
write
all
it
knew
down.
about him,
They
right?
all knew about him, and I wrote down the number, and I don't know where I put it. I wrote down a number. She told him how much family that they had. Let me see if I can
It was
find it.
over 100 for
90.
sure.
It was 90. It was 90.
Okay,
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was 90.
close
That's
to
what she
100
said.
for sure.
Yeah. And who knows, there may have been some babies or something born since that was filmed. So anyway,
Yeah.
90. Can you imagine being on the beach and 90 family members there, and they're all your family who knew about you? That's going to be great. That's how they should end the season, with David and all of his family on the beach with a bonfire, or they need to do it and they need to share the photo with all of us.
Yeah.
So we have a request. That's what we want.
Mhm.
So that would be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah.
our Team Blue expert. Mary told us something really fun when the show started on Sunday night. What was that, Mary?
Yeah, well, as they said, you're going to Issaquah, and I had to text everybody in the group and say, I had lunch in Issaquah on Friday.
How fun is that? How fun is that? It's so fun when the teams are so close to you. It's annoying when you
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
about
that they're so close to you. but-
15 miles from my house to Issaquah.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
Wow.
That's
Well,
pretty
tell us
close.
about Team Blue and who they met.
So Team Blue, and you know, I was saying last week that I had a bet with myself and I won. This week I had a bet
Yes.
with myself and I lost. Because I thought that they would meet. She would meet one of her parents on day 8 and then the other parent on day 9.
Me
But
too.
she met a cousin, one of her dad's
Yeah.
cousins,
Yes.
another Jarvamaki.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I love the
and
story
he had
on the
some
name
interesting
change.
story to tell. Yeah,
Yes, that was
his
interesting.
the ancestor. His surname was not Jarvamaki,
Right.
but he was sponsored to come to the U.S.
Yeah.
and his way to the U.S. was paid. But the guy that paid it said, "I want you to change your name to Jarvamaki."
Yeah.
And so they're not blood Jarvamakis, but they are.
Well, I was really interested in that because is that a family lore story or do they have documented proof? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really wondered about that. And then I thought, gosh, I wonder how many people are struggling to go back to the old country and they can't make a connection. And it's because of something like that, but they don't know.
And it's
Yeah, that would
interesting.
be
I mean, when
hard.
you're doing
I immediately went to The Godfather.
Oh,
Remember when
geez.
Michael goes back, the name, the village, all of that. And I thought, all the name, the changes, but tell me why that person sponsoring him would
Why
want
would he
him
want
to
him?
take that name.
Any
maybe
ideas?
he didn't have children
That's
and
what
he
I was
wanted his name
thinking.
to carry on.
That's what I was
Really? Well,
thinking.
that's
But
a thought.
A lot of Scandinavians
Mhm.
would they use in general a patronymic naming system. So
Mhm.
your Lars daughter or Lars
Right.
son.
Right.
But then sometimes they actually take the farm name. And
Yeah.
so someone may be raised with a particular name, but then get the farm and wind up with the farm name.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
So that would follow suit. If you're going to go get land, then you're going to use my name, and maybe that person that was
right.
a farm name. Yeah.
Maybe.
I tracked my Scottish ancestor because he named the farm after the area he was from.
Yeah.
And we
So-
made it all the way back there.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and say There's a lot of articles in the National Genealogical Society Quarterly that talk about this. People taking the farm name. So be sure and read NGSQ
Read it.
if you want to learn how to do
Because
genealogy.
Mary's the
Good plug,
editor.
Mary.
That's right. Good plug, Mary. Mary's the editor for the NGSQ or one of the editors. So perfect. Wonderful. Yeah. So what a fun thing. And she learned a little bit more about her family history, which
Yeah,
Shelley was
yeah.
talking about before, that they're learning a little bit more about where they've come from and things like that this season.
Mhm.
That's really cool. So, and she's loving it. They're both just drinking all that in, because they didn't know. And so how fun.
She
But
saw
yeah,
a couple more photos of her dad.
that's right.
as
As a
well.
teenager. Yeah. Her
Yeah.
dad was a teenager and she loved those. Those were fun photos. So
Yeah, she was so excited to see
Yeah.
how outgoing and friendly he seemed.
oh
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like her.
we don't know ahead of time what's gonna happen. But
Right.
we kind of started thinking, well, maybe on day 9 she'll meet both of her parents and they'll be together. Wouldn't that be
That'd be
awesome?
fun.
That would make for a fun ending for her. So as far as meeting relatives, we don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. Nobody tells us. It's not like we get any news ahead of time. We watch it just like everybody else does. So that would
Remind
be.
me, if we go back to the beginning,
Mhm.
what was her story with her parents? Did she have any time with either of them?
I don't believe
Or-
so.
I don't think
I don't think so because
so.
her uncle was telling her that her dad wanted her.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And so I don't think her dad had the not well, knew she was born, but he didn't have any time
There
with
was
her.
no communication.
Yeah, and
No
so
communication.
yeah, I don't think so. Mary, what were we gonna say?
Well, I was just going to say that both of her parents came. I mean, they've told us a little bit about where her
Mhm.
parents came from, and I figured it out. So it's basically the same neighborhood.
Oh, good. So they could
in
meet
Seattle.
together.
I mean, they
Oh,
don't. I'm not sure that they,
they still are
as
there.
adults, live in that same
Right.
place, but they grew up.
Yeah.
And they went to different high schools, but two
Yeah.
high schools kind of in the same neighborhood.
That would be such a
yeah,
cool
so-
reunion, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah.
would.
I don't even know. I mean, that would be so overwhelming to meet both on the same day.
Well,
But we wish
yeah,
that for her.
and for the parents maybe to
Yeah.
not have seen each other in 20, 30,
Yeah.
40 years, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And then to not only see
Yeah.
each other again, but then to see their daughter again. It's just
That-
kind of, or was,
That would be.
could be wild.
That's-
Yeah.
That's our wish. That's our wish. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but because sometimes, and we learn this, it's not because they don't want to meet them, but sometimes it's because they don't want to do it on television. And we got to respect that. But normally we know ahead of time, they've said,
Yes,
mom or
exactly.
dad or whomever would love to meet you, but they're just not ready to do it on the show. And so they know that ahead
Had
of
about her brother. She has a
Yes.
maternal brother, and they said you won't be beating him on the
Yeah.
show. So they said that up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Bernice,
Yes.
are you comfortable talking about either Team Green or Team Red?
Let's talk about red.
Okay.
Auntie.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. So the aunt, Christy, was the main person.
exactly. Yes, your daughter. Yes.
Christy was really into sharing information about her Polish heritage.
Yes.
Provided her with a really nice apron.
Oh yeah, those aprons were
And they
so
went to the kitchen and made
Pretty.
They
Gross.
did. They did. It was so fun. I loved
Yes.
that. I
Correct.
loved that.
Then that was her dad's sister, and she
Right.
learned that Roshina meant family. So she
Flavia in Polish.
Yeah.
shared a Polish word that she did not know, and everybody now knows that.
Yeah, exactly. And they all at the end, they all
Was that the dad's youngest sister or no?
I'm not sure. There's four. Was there four of them? I think there was a picture.
They showed a picture,
Four
yeah.
siblings. There's four siblings.
Yeah, I
I'm not
wasn't sure if she was the youngest.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but how fun.
remember her saying it, but it was a lot of fun just watching the
Yeah.
dynamics. Yeah.
I loved those aprons because they said they're Polish aprons, and I'm thinking, what makes them Polish aprons? And maybe it's the beautiful artwork on them. I'm not sure, but they were gorgeous. They were beautiful. So I don't know if they were
So
hand.
colorful.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they were so cool. Plus,
Yeah.
but they didn't make too many. I mean, the plate had like 7 pierogies. I could eat that myself.
Well, they probably hadn't been eating them, and that's
That's
all
we
looking
only
good on
saw a
camera.
clip. You don't know
That's
what
right.
they cut out.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Well, Laura, have you made them before? Tell us how they're made.
No, I haven't made them from scratch. Here, there's a big Polish, community. Here we can always get frozen pierogies, and
Oh, okay.
it's a really quick. But you can go to Polish restaurants and have really
Because they said that I've never had
delicious
one before. They
ones.
said it was potatoes, like potatoes.
Yeah, it's like ravioli,
Potatoes in a like
but it can be
ravioli.
yeah, but it's stuffed with like potatoes or potatoes and garlic or potatoes and
Oh,
cheese.
sounds so
Delicious.
good.
Minutes and then you fry it.
Yeah,
Sounds
delicious.
delicious. Ooh, I need to try one sometime. That's
Yeah.
good. Sounds
And you
really
can put different sauces on them or whatever you want.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, how fun. I love that. I love the fact that, she was learning her heritage, and then they
Some of
helped
that.
her. They
Yeah.
helped her connect with food. I mean, who doesn't want to connect with food when you find out about your heritage, right? Exactly. So I loved that. That was fun. It was just a fun visit. So thanks, Bernice. That was great. I loved that reunion. So now we got Team Green. Who'd like to talk about Team Green?
Well, they ended up in Heber, Arizona, and they drove off.
Heber,
Heber,
Arizona.
Heber,
Heber.
excuse
Because
me.
when they said Heber,
H-E-B-E-R.
there's a Heber in Utah, so I thought they were sending them back to Utah. So
Oh,
Okay.
Heber, yeah.
So they get out and they think it's her brother Kevin. And
Right.
out-
Craig. Yeah.
Well, I thought to myself, oh wait, hasn't she already met this guy?
yeah, but it turns out he is another brother, a younger brother. And
Oh, he's the youngest.
Yeah.
Craig is the youngest.
Yeah, he's
like,
the youngest.
did he
Yeah.
say 34 or something like that?
I wrote 38.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
it was 38. It's okay. It doesn't,
Yeah, so yeah, they had a good time, and he talked about he does nature tours and but he was just really, he was like all that family is like, oh, love you, met you, we're gonna be friends.
Exactly. We didn't get upset when Dad told us. It was fine. We've been excited since, and I'm thinking, that's amazing, because I can't imagine if my dad had come to me and said, maybe since I've been watching Relative Race, I'd have been fine. But before Relative Race, I understood all this stuff, and I could connect and understand and empathize. I can't even imagine my dad coming up to me and saying, well, I just found out that you've got a sister. I probably would have been in shock. I don't know if I would. I mean, think about, how would you feel to begin with, But then I would have said, yay, I always wanted a sister, but it would have been a real shock. So
Yeah,
it's wonderful that they've just all just accepted this, like, okay.
yeah. And even if they were mad at their dad because of how the sister happened, they're not mad that they have a sister.
Yeah. But it doesn't even sound like they're upset with the dad because they've got a sister. It just sounds like they went, this is really cool,
They're over it now. They're on
over
TV.
it. They're over
well,
it.
and I love when they shared the genealogy with them, and so he's the family genealogist, and that's really special when you are coming into a new family and they want to share that with you. That's really, they're really wonderful people to do that and share. I guess their German heritage, and he was showing her maps, and where our family comes from, and those words are important. This is where our family comes from. You included.
Yeah, you included. Yep, this is where we come from. Yep, absolutely. So I would love that he was showing her maps. Yeah, instead of just it's one thing. It's great when they show them the big family tree, but to actually pull the map out and say, right here, This is where we're from.
There
Yeah.
wasn't
I-
a lot of detail on that
I
map.
know, I wanted more map. I've been working on German research and man,
That's
I was
right.
just
You're
like
working on some German right now.
salivating on this.
Mary's
Yeah.
like, I want to know if we're connected.
I know.
Let me see if your people are near my people on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they said West Germany. I'm like, yeah, okay.
But yeah. But again, it's all that editing, it's all that
Yeah.
editing. And as we as genealogists are watching it, we want more of that kind of stuff. And the show is more for everybody that just wants those connections, wants them to see their family. So both are important. But for us, we watch it a lot of times for the genealogy information that's on it. Mary watches it to see what more she can research.
Yes.
Grab.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I
that.
pause on a lot of documents, but I didn't
Yeah.
pause on that map because there just wasn't enough to see.
Enough, yeah, exactly. So too fun. So they're coming into the results. We went over all the teams, right? I didn't miss anybody. No, we did them
Yeah.
all. Okay.
Got 'em all.
You did them all.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
What about meeting the father?
do I? Nobody met
Oh,
a.
nobody met father this?
Not
No.
this one. It was
It was last
previous
week. It was.
Yeah, I'm putting all my shows together now.
No, you know what? I do that. I do that too, and we'll start to talk. And I really have a hard time if we're doing two
Yeah.
together, like when we did day 5 and 6, and I had jet lag, and I was like, I couldn't remember anything. So it was, we have to keep each other straight. So, and then the different seasons. Sometimes I'm thinking, wait a second, no, that didn't happen on this season. It happened on last season. So we're doing the best we can, right? We're doing the best we can. So they're all wondering, but they know that whoever comes in first on day 8, there's a big benefit. Shelley, what was it?
Well, the benefit was regarding the strikes.
Yes.
Relieve one of the other teams of one or relieve one of yours.
Or, yeah.
And
So you can
blue
get rid of a
team
strike.
Opted to remove theirs, which is a good strategy because that
Yes.
made it free and clear for them not to have to do an additional
Right.
challenge. Where now, by them doing that, Black will definitely have to
Yeah,
do
'cause they've got
additional
3.
challenge.
Yeah, they've got 3. Blue had 1, so that got rid of it. So now they have 0.
They're clean all
They're
the way
clean.
for 10.
So
Yeah.
the
Right.
worst they're going to end up with possibly is 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they could
Because
get
we've
one
only
next
got one
week.
more day. We've only got
Yeah.
one more day. So that
Only one
guaranteed
more
them,
day.
that guaranteed them in day 10 not to have to do an extra challenge. I thought that was very smart of them. Very, very smart of them.
A
So
great strategy.
great strategy. So who is going to have to do the challenge with Team Black? Well, we don't know. It's going to depend. Will
Could
Red get
could the other 3 teams have additional or because right
It's
now
only-
we only know Black.
so
No,
Black
so
will
it's going to be the
definitely-
bottom 2.
Yeah,
That's
So-
right.
right. The bottom 2, and
That's
Team
right.
Red's got 2 strikes and Team Green's got 2 strikes. So if one
It's
of
going to be
them
one of them
it's
with Black.
probably unless Team Blue gets a strike, and then what are they going to do if they've got? What will they do if they've got 2 teams with 2 strikes? What will they
Make
do?
them all do the additional challenge.
Maybe, I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
That's a good
because-
question because it could
Yeah.
come out where there's not a clear bottom 2.
Exactly. That's going to be.
I
very-
would hate that it's within seconds.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes they're like, it's like
Yeah,
because we stopped and took a deep breath to look at an address, we
yeah.
came in behind somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be really interesting. Mary?
They could also maybe say if, 2 teams had the same number of strikes, but this one had more first place wins or something.
There you go.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. Because they did talk about the first place wins.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah,
important.
you're right.
That's right. That's right, Mary. That's probably exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Exactly what it's going to be. Yeah. So day 9 is going to be very interesting because it's the last day of meetings.
This whole season has been
It's
interesting.
been great. Well, we never even said who came in anything. So what were the results on day 8? Who came in first? There's Penny.
Blue.
Penny, tell us.
Team Blue, because they didn't have to
Blue.
take the selfie.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Because they
saved
didn't.
them
That's
enough
what.
time.
That's what saved him. And that's what Dan said. That's what saved you, is you didn't have to take the selfie. And then,
But
but
Black came in second.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that last couple of weeks, they're at the bottom, but they
Yes.
came in second. And
Well,
didn't
yeah.
he comment on the niece's, Raylene's navigating
Yeah.
that helped
Yes.
them
Good
out?
she was.
So,
Yeah. How
yeah.
good she was at that.
I
Yeah.
hope we're giving tips to the next team coming out. Season
The next
16, the Navigators.
The navigator's really important. Exactly.
Okay, but if you end up in a city in a grid, that's also very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because like Team Red was in Houston. Hello.
Yeah. Actually, there's no rural areas.
That's hard. That's
Or
hard.
maybe they're bringing them in,
Yeah. And you're
But
gonna be
like,
it's hard.
even
there was
where
a
I am,
route.
the whole Southeast Michigan is basically on a grid. There's like every
Yeah.
once in a while a diagonal road, but
So it's easier to find what you're looking for. Yeah, yeah. So okay, then who came in third, and then who came
Third was Red.
Red?
Yeah, they came in. They were third, and then of course Green. That
Green.
leaves Green for last place.
Yeah. And I think it was their accidental U-turn, as they called it. They had to go back and
Yes.
turn the wrong. I think that's what probably maybe got them to where they are. So anyway, yeah. So it was another good day on the race. It was another good day of meeting family, finding answers, getting answers that they've been looking for so long. We still all have a lot of questions.
yes, we do.
And people
That's
that
why we keep watching.
I know, because we want to know. We want to know who else they're going to meet and what other answers they're going to get about their stories, and they're just so brave to share all this, And I think the relatives that come on and are willing to let their stories be told too are very brave as well, because some of these stories are hard over the previous seasons. There's some really hard stories, and people have come on and been willing to talk about what went on, and just they're there for those team members. And I just think that's really special too. And we appreciate them as well. Not only the teams, letting us follow along on their journey, but those relatives too that show up for them is so important.
Show up.
So
Yeah.
important.
Remember Callie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Had me crying.
Yeah. They all have us. They all have
And they
us.
showed up. Somebody showed up for her.
Somebody showed up for
I was
Callie.
bawling.
Exactly.
Like family.
Exactly. So like I said, we've got some ideas of whom we would like for them to meet on day 9. We've got some wish
Yeah,
lists.
Sherry's got the whole day 9 scripted out, even though it's in the past.
Who knows who they're really going to meet? We've got a
It
wish.
might be total opposite.
Yeah, we just don't even know.
Just don't know.
You have a family you have a full family reunion on the beach for Team Black.
That's right.
You have
That's right.
meeting,
Bonfire on the beach.
yeah,
That's right.
and then you have Mom and Dad for Team Blue.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
what's going to happen for Team Red?
Gosh,
What?
I don't know, because he's met both his parents. So maybe does Dan have any other siblings he hasn't met? Maybe some
I don't-
siblings for
maybe.
Dan? Yeah. And I don't know, maybe
And
some more
he's
siblings for
married,
Kaylee,
too.
but because she's met
I know.
some siblings. I'm not sure about Team Red, and then Team Green.
Team
I
Green,
mean-
I think they should have a bonfire on a different beach. Not their family.
There you
We're
go.
in Arizona. There's not a lot of beaches.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But there's sand, so you can
You can have a bonfire, yeah. So I don't know, maybe just all their family come together. Anybody else they haven't from that family is just so wonderful. So and then we keep going back to with them is that question they wanted to know why they have to wear the wigs. I mean, they said that in their interviews to begin with, and it was aired, and we'd all like to know, and we haven't. The viewers don't know. Because they haven't met anybody on their paternal side that seems to have this issue. And so people on social media say, well, maybe it came from the mom, but if it did, they'd already know that, wouldn't they? So, because they're not looking for the maternal side. So this is very interesting.
Yeah.
that we don't know that answer. And so if we get all the way through, we don't get the answer when we have our reunion show, I hope they'll answer it. I hope it, I mean,
Maybe
because
it's
I'm
not
asking them,
something we should be
but,
asking.
but they're the ones that threw it out
They
there. We
brought it
would
up,
never
yeah.
know. They're the ones that brought it up. We would never know
Mhm.
anything about it had they not
Mhm.
brought it up. So, you know,
I had to let it go because I kept coming up with, and I thought, wait, I'll wait till they say
wait
something.
till they say something. So that would be
Yeah.
my wish list for Team Green, is just so that, because they want to know, so that they can find out, or even if they don't want us to know, they could say we found out, and it's that we're not disclosing it, but we did find out. So I don't know. You want them to have all their questions answered, right? So that's really my script for day 10. I want all the teams to have all their
But we'll
questions
support you.
answered.
You're not getting any of that 50,000, but we'll
No,
support
but
you.
but that's what I want. That's what I want for them. And yeah, and we don't even have to know the answers, as long as they know the answers and
Right.
they feel good and peaceful and connected in their hearts. That's all that matters.
But the other thing our viewers could speculate on is, where is day 10 going to be if day 1 started in Philadelphia with the whole aircraft carrier? We
Yeah.
had this military theme.
Right.
Where is day 10?
It is day 10.
I'm not looking. I'm not peeking. I don't want to know because there might be clips up. I don't
I
want
know. Be
no,
careful, everybody that doesn't like spoilers. Don't go on BYU
no.
TV and look ahead and read the synopsis for the next show.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll ruin the show for you.
Yes, Mother.
Unless you're somebody who likes to read the last
Yes,
pages of
ma'am.
the book before you before you read it. If you like to know the answers, my suggestion would be don't do it, because it gives too much
Yeah.
away. And be
Yeah.
careful. As soon as the show ends, turn it off and don't watch the commercials for the next week.
That's
right.
what I
Because
did. I go
that-
looking for Ruby in the Well. That's what that's
So
my
just
favorite
don't.
show over there.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. So anyway, just some thoughts, if you don't want to ruin day 9 and day 10. Be careful what you read and what you look at, so they might get some spoilers. Anyway, thanks guys. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week, and then in a couple of weeks
too.
we'll have our reunion show. That's going to be really fun. We do have one coming up. It's just going to be a couple of weeks after day 10 because of scheduling stuff, but we'll let you know about that. So let's get to 9 and 10, and then we'll talk to you about the reunion show. So I will see y'all next time, and we would love to hear comments. I love it when you guys leave a comment and tell us your thoughts and your feelings about the show, and your predictions, and your answering our questions or telling us that we messed up. It's really funny. I love it. So please continue. And we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.